What if a forgotten experiment from the space age, sealed underground for decades, woke up hungry and started looking for a way out? The story begins. In 1979, the Skylab space station falls out of orbit and burns up in Earth's atmosphere on re-entry. NASA officially recovers all the pieces. But as it turns out, not all of them. We open on the cold emptiness of outer space. A title card explains the Skylab incident. Then the screen cuts to Western Australia. A man sprints to a roadside payphone, gasping for breath. He is terrified. He keeps dialing. He keeps getting transferred. He finally reaches someone, Dr. Hero Martins, a scientist based in Rome, Italy. The man tells her something strange. His uncle found a piece of the old Skylab station years ago, an oxygen tank, and turned it into a tourist attraction. But something has leaked from it. People are getting sick. People are dying. He needs help. Before Martins can get more answers, the call breaks up. She loses him completely. 27 hours later, Martins arrives in the small Australian town alongside two colleagues, Robert Quinn and Trini Romano. The streets are silent. Completely empty. Quinn asks what they're dealing with. Martins explains that NASA placed a special fungus inside the oxygen tank before the Skylab mission. The goal was to see how a different atmosphere and environment might alter the fungus, possibly leading to medical cures. Nobody expected it to come back to Earth like this. The three of them suit up in hazmat gear and walk into the ghost town. They count 14 homes and 12 cars. But not a single living soul. Martins finds the oxygen tank. She leans in close and examines it with a magnifying glass. She spots hairline cracks along the surface. Green fungus is leaking out. Nearby, there is a bowl with soapy water and a sponge. Someone tried to clean the tank. That well-meaning act triggered a chemical reaction, and that's what caused the fractures. Quinn holds onto Martins as she leans in even closer to study the fungus. Through the glass, she watches it move. It pulses. It breathes. Then, it lunges at her. Martins yanks back, startled. She thinks she's safe. She doesn't notice that a tiny amount of fungus hit the ground right where she's standing. She steps directly on it. The fungus begins silently eating through the sole of her boot. It corrodes the suit. It gets through. And it begins to infect her. Romano calls out from a nearby rooftop. Quinn and Martins climb up to join her. What they find is horrifying. One of the townspeople lies there, chest cavity completely torn open. They scan the other rooftops. The rest of the people are there too. All dead. All destroyed by the fungus. Quinn knows they need to move. He tells Martins to grab her sample and get back to the car. As the three of them walk back, Quinn and Romano debate where to safely store the samples. Quinn suggests a secure government bunker site in Kansas. But before they can finish the conversation, Martins convulses. She doubles over and vomits green fungus directly into her hazmat suit. The infection has taken over. The fungus is now controlling her body. It drives her toward the car. It wants her to find more people, more hosts to infect. Romano pulls out a weapon and tries to shoot her. Martins reverses the car, trying to run Romano down. Quinn shoves Romano out of the way, throwing out his back in the process. Martins fights it. Deep inside, some part of her is still there. She struggles against the fungus controlling her mind. In her final moment of clarity, she reaches up, pulls the air tube out of her own hazmat suit, and fires it into the gap. She kills herself. She saves everyone else. The government moves quickly. They firebomb the entire town. They take the fungal sample to a secure containment facility deep underground in Atchison, Kansas. The fungus is locked away in cold storage. 20 years pass. The threat is forgotten. The upper floors of the land above the facility are quietly sold off. A private self-storage company builds on top of it. Life goes on. Travis drives to work listening to a self-help audiobook about how to be more assertive. He is clearly a man trying to turn his life around. He pulls into the parking lot of the storage facility, and his boss Griffin immediately corners him. Griffin wants Travis's help with a job happening at the facility that night. Travis says no. He's trying to stay clean. He wants to do things right. Griffin gives up and tells Travis to spend his shift training the new hire instead, then drives off on his motorcycle. Travis sits down at his security desk and starts watching the cameras. He spots the new girl walking in. Her name is Naomi Williams. She is sharp, confident, and has a quiet energy about her. Travis is immediately, helplessly intrigued. But something else catches his attention. There is a faint beeping sound somewhere in the building. He can't figure out where it's coming from. Meanwhile, a woman named Mrs. Rooney arrives at the facility. She is elderly, cold, and curt with Travis when he tries to make small talk. She heads down to her storage unit alone. Inside, she looks at a photograph of her late husband. Today would have been their wedding anniversary. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a gun. She sits with it for a long moment. Then she decides, not yet. She'll take a short nap first. Back at the front desk, Travis gets Naomi on the intercom. He asks if she can hear the beeping. She comes to the lobby and listens carefully, nothing at first. Then Travis introduces himself. "Hick," he says. Long story. Naomi gets a phone call. It's tense and brief. When she hangs up, she tells Travis it was the father of her child. Also a long story. Then she hears it. The beep. Travis isn't imagining things. Far away in Raleigh, North Carolina, Quinn gets a call from a government contact. He tells his wife it's probably nothing and to go back to sleep. But his face says otherwise. Back at the facility, Travis and Naomi trace the beeping to a hidden section behind a drywall panel. Naomi convinces Travis to break through. Maybe it's a smoke alarm. Or maybe it's something terrible, she says with a grin. She clearly wants something interesting to happen. Travis hesitates. He needs this job. He's an ex-con. He ended up as the getaway driver in a robbery without fully realizing what was going on. He can't afford to mess things up. But Naomi looks at him. And Travis breaks through the wall. On the other side, they find a large old control panel. It monitors temperature levels, deep underground temperature levels. Naomi scans the readouts, applying knowledge from her veterinary school studies to interpret the system. She notices a map on the wall. There's an entrance to lower floors. Travis wants to stop. Naomi is already moving toward it. He tells her honestly, her pretty eyes are the reason he broke through that wall in the first place. He's trying to think before he acts from now on. Naomi is briefly caught off guard by the compliment. Then she asks if he's ready to go. He follows her. Outside in the parking lot, a car pulls up. A man named Mike sits inside. There's a gun on the passenger seat. He's been trying to call Naomi. He's the the father of her daughter. Down below, Travis and Naomi explore the tunnels. They find a janitor's closet, a hidden passage, and a ladder leading even deeper. They go further. Outside, Mike steps out of his car and goes to the trunk. Something is moving inside it. He opens it. There's a cat, one he accidentally shot. It should be dead. It's not. Its head is partially liquefied. Green fungus eats through it. The cat lurches out of the trunk, scrambles up the side of the building, and impales itself on an antenna spike at the top, then explodes. Green fungus rains down. It coats Mike. It hits a nearby deer. Inside the tunnels, Naomi and Travis find a lab door. The fungus is growing over the frame. They hear rustling below the door. Naomi leans in to get a closer look. Travis grabs her arm and pulls her back just in time. Through the gap at the bottom of the door, infected rats, dozens of them, cannibalizing each other in a frenzy. The two of them look at each other. No words needed. They turn around and head back upstairs. Back in North Carolina, Quinn is already taking action. He opens a locked safe, pulls out a satellite phone, and contacts a government operations center. A woman answers. She explains that the coolant alarm at the Kansas facility went off hours ago. But no one informed Quinn until now. He is furious. To him, the people in charge clearly aren't taking the situation seriously. Quinn immediately starts giving orders. He wants a plane to Kansas, a car waiting for him, and several specific pieces of equipment ready on arrival. Quinn may be retired, but he knows the danger. And without his former resources, he needs their help. Before ending the call, he asks the woman for her name. She refuses to give her real one and instead chooses a codename, Abigail. Quinn tells Abigail that all communication must go through one man only, Gordon Gray. When she hesitates, Quinn reminds her why she took this job in the first place. This is the moment when protecting innocent lives actually matters. Later, on the plane, Quinn watches old footage showing the final moments of Dr. Martens, her suicide in the containment suit in an Australian parking lot 20 years earlier. The memory reminds him exactly how dangerous this fungus truly is. Soon after, Abigail calls back with troubling news. Gordon Gray has been dead for over a year. The man currently in charge is someone named Jarabek. And Jarabek thinks Quinn is overreacting. Jarabek joins the call himself and dismisses Quinn's warnings. According to him, they are only cooperating out of respect for Gray's legacy. All he wants from Quinn is a simple report. Quinn listens quietly, then he calmly replies, "Up yours, asshole," and hangs up. Jarabek quickly adds that he is still on the line. "I know," Quinn answers, before hanging up again. Not long after, Abigail calls Quinn on her personal phone. She refuses to let Jarabek shut things down. She's on Quinn's side. Quinn tells her to contact Romano and have her meet him in Kansas with everything on his equipment list, including item 7. Meanwhile, Jarabek approaches Abigail's desk. Thinking quickly, she pretends to be on the phone discussing a pregnancy scare, which makes him leave immediately. Listening from the plane, Quinn can't help but be impressed. At the storage facility, Travis and Naomi are returning to the lobby when they suddenly freeze. A deer is standing in front of the elevator. The animal calmly presses the button. The doors open, and the deer walks inside. The film then reveals how this strange situation began. For years, the coolant system in the underground facility had been failing. Slowly, the fungus escaped. A bug became infected and crawled outside, only to be crushed by Mike's car tire. The fungus attached itself to the tire, spread to the trunk, infected the cat, and from there infected both Mike and the deer. Now the deer reaches the lobby and heads for the exit. But when Travis accidentally startles it, the animal turns and charges. Naomi pulls Travis out of the way just in time. The deer crashes through the lobby and suddenly explodes in a burst of green infected gore, splattering the entire room. Through the dripping mess, they see Mike. He is barely recognizable. His face is twisted, and his movements are unnatural. When he sees Naomi, he screams at her to open her mouth. Terrified, Travis and Naomi run. They hide inside a storage unit, but Mike finds them and claws at the door. They slam it on his fingers and hold it shut. Now they are trapped. Desperate, Travis calls the military for help. Meanwhile, Quinn lands in Kansas, where Romano is already waiting with a car and supplies. Abigail contacts him with new information. A civilian distress call has come from the facility. Quinn speaks directly with Naomi and promises that help is on the way. But while Travis and Naomi wait, someone else arrives first, Griffin and his crew, stealing expensive flat-screen TVs from a storage unit. They enter the building, notice the gore in the lobby, and Griffin immediately shouts into the intercom. But despite the chaos, they continue with their robbery. Elsewhere, Quinn and Romano break into the basement of a suburban house. As they try to leave, a man appears with a shotgun. Romano calmly speaks to him until he lowers the weapon. The man turns out to be her estranged son, Anthony. Their reunion is tense, but before leaving, Romano casually asks about Thanksgiving. Anthony reluctantly says he will try to make it work. Outside, Quinn finally sees what Item 7 is. A nuclear bomb. Romano simply shrugs. She hid it in her grandchildren's basement because no one would ever think to look there. Quinn calls her insane. But there's no time to argue. And the situation at the facility is only getting worse. Romano tells Quinn to take her car and head to the facility. At this point, she knows she'll only slow him down. Back at the facility, Travis makes a choice. Quinn hasn't arrived yet, but Griffin and his crew are already down there, dangerously close to the infected units. Travis refuses to just sit and hide. He tells Naomi he wants to do one good thing, help someone. Even if that someone is Griffin. Naomi doesn't hesitate. She goes with him. Down in the lower level, Mike is drawn by the noise. He finds the thieves, and suddenly vomits a stream of green fungus onto 3 of them. Travis reacts instantly, slamming the door shut and trapping the infected inside. But Mike turns, and starts coming after Travis and Naomi. Then, a gunshot echoes through the corridor. Miss Rooney stands there, calm, a gun in her hand. Mike drops, and his body explodes. She looks down at the remains and says flatly, "Something wasn't right about that young man." On his way, Quinn calls Abigail. He needs thermal satellite imaging of the facility. Infected bodies run hot, and he needs to know exactly how many people are still inside. Because some of them, he's going to have to kill. Nearby, Griffin hears the gunshot. Instantly on edge, he pulls out his weapon, ready to shoot anyone who moves. Travis manages to get Mrs. Rooney out safely. But the moment he steps back inside, Griffin confronts him. He's furious. In the chaos, Griffin fires, accidentally shooting Travis in the shoulder. Then he demands that Travis open the storage unit holding the 3 infected men. Travis refuses. Instead, he locks it. Suddenly, Naomi rushes in and blasts Griffin and his partner with a fire extinguisher, creating just enough distraction for them to escape outside. But not everyone is lucky. One of Griffin's men, Daryl, stumbles into the puddle of infected gore that used to be Mike. The fungus crawls up his legs. He's infected instantly. Outside, the getaway driver, the Rev, sees the chaos unfold. He makes a quick decision. This job isn't worth dying for. He throws the truck into reverse and drives away, taking a few TVs and his life with him. Quinn finally arrives at the facility. He wastes no time. He lays out the plan clearly. Travis and Naomi will go underground and plant the nuclear device at the source of the infection. Quinn will stay above ground and deal with anything that tries to escape. But he makes one thing very clear. His job is the harder one. Because every person he shoots used to be innocent. The fungus gave them no choice. And now, neither does he. Travis and Naomi suit up in hazmat gear, take the bomb, and head back inside. Outside, Quinn walks through the parking lot, slashing the tires of every vehicle, making sure no infected can escape. Deep underground, Travis and Naomi reach the central chamber. They place the bomb carefully on the table. But then, Naomi notices something. The timer is already counting down. Quinn started it before they even left. They don't argue. They run. The hazmat suits slow them down, so they rip them off and sprint for the stairs. Above ground, Abigail's voice suddenly comes through Quinn's earpiece. An infected is rushing him from behind. Quinn spins and fires, taking down Daryl. But the sudden movement tears through his lower back. The same injury from 20 years ago. He collapses. Then Griffin appears, standing over him, demanding the car keys. He's desperate. Not thinking clearly. A car pulls into the lot. Romano steps out. She sees Griffin standing over Quinn. She asks one simple question. Good to go? Quinn looks up at her. Good to go. Without hesitation, Romano raises her gun and shoots Griffin dead. Just like that. Seconds later, Travis and Naomi burst out of the building. They were furious about the timer. Quinn simply says he was sure they would make it. No time to argue. They all jump into the car. Quinn slams the gas, and they speed out of the parking lot. Behind them, the bomb timer flickers. It glitches, just like Quinn warned. It speeds up, and then, it detonates. The explosion completely incinerates the underground facility, wiping out everything within a mile. A massive column of fire rises into the night sky. Romano watches the blast in silence. Then after a pause, she quietly says, "Oh, my son's car." She left it in the parking lot. Days later, Quinn is recovering in a hospital bed, quietly watching the news. On the screen, Jarabek is sitting in front of a government committee, being aggressively questioned about the outbreak and his attempt to cover it up. Quinn's old memos, the warnings he sent for years that no one listened to, have now been leaked to the public. And the country is furious. As Quinn watches Jarabek struggle to answer the accusations, he can't help but laugh quietly to himself. At that moment, the hospital room door opens. Abigail walks in. For the first time, she finally reveals her real name, Ishani. She tells Quinn that she was the one who leaked the memos. She couldn't allow the government to hide the truth about what happened. Not this time. Before leaving, she thanks him. Quinn reminded her why she chose this job in the first place, to protect people when no one else is willing to step in. Meanwhile, in a bright and peaceful park, Travis is sitting on a bench with Naomi and her 6-year-old daughter, Sarah. The three of them look comfortable together, almost like a small family beginning a new chapter. Naomi finally asks Travis something she's been curious about. Why does everyone call him tea cake? Travis smiles and explains. Years ago, he went to a small shop with some friends to buy snacks. But the only thing left in the store was a pack of tea cakes. So he bought them. He ended up liking them. Unfortunately, his friends never forgot about it, and the nickname stuck. He admits that he hasn't heard his real name in years, not until Naomi used it. Travis looks at her. She looks back at him. Neither of them says anything. But the quiet moment between them suggests that their story might just be beginning. For now, the world appears safe again. The fungus has been destroyed. The crisis is over. Out in the peaceful countryside, a herd of deer slowly grazes in the golden light of the afternoon sun. Everything looks calm. Everything looks normal. Then one deer suddenly raises its head. It slowly turns and stares directly toward the camera. And without warning, it violently vomits a stream of green fungus onto the ground.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel.